Hi guys, I'm Mar, and on today's video, we're gonna be talking about the one, the only, our mothership, Starbucks, of course, and why you just can't seem to quit Starbucks, why you're fully addicted. And no, it's not because it's coffee, no, it's not because it's caffeine. That would just be too basic, that would just be too simple of an answer, wouldn't it? Oh, this is hell dry. Okay, bye. Actually, it's so cute. Wait, I really attach myself to products for way too long, but they're just so cute. So yeah, as always, I will be linking all the products I use in the description box, and we're gonna get into this because, girl, I'm struggling. None of you want to be looking at this face anymore. I understand. So let's get started. So Starbucks to me is so fascinating because Starbucks actually makes up for 57% of all cafe sales in the US. That's almost 2/3. Whenever somebody goes and buys themselves a little frappuccino, a little bit of coffee, they're just like, oh, I need some strength to get through my day, they're most likely buying at Starbucks. And why is that? Is it because they're everywhere? Or is there something actually deeper happening? Because people don't usually say, oh, let's go get some coffee. They say, oh, let's go get some Starbucks. So in 1970, three college friends, Zev Ziegler, Jerry Baldwin, and Gordon Boker, decided they wanted to get into the coffee business. And this was the 70s. The coffee business was not what we know nowadays. Coffee was just something people drank at their homes when they needed a little pick-me-up, and at their office, and that was that. It wasn't like something where people went and they bought coffee, or where they got together to drink coffee, or where they sat somewhere with their computers, because there were no computers. So these three friends were like, okay, we want to get into the business, and what they wanted to do was sell roasted coffee beans. So the actual beans, they would sell it to people who want to just drink it at their home. Sometimes they would ground it up for people so it would be easier for them to actually make the coffee at home. But that was that. That was as far as they went. And when they got into the business, they actually had a mentor, and their mentor was Alfred Pete. And this was a guy that did Pete's Coffee. And when I was reading about this, I was like, oh, Mr. Pete, you smart. You got that Starbucks coin now. But spoiler alert, no, none of them. Not Mr. Pete, not Ziegel, not Gordon, none of them. None of these guys were that smart, because what they were doing was still selling just a coffee bean. You had to go and get yourself a damn bean and make your coffee your damn self. And really, I know this was the 70s, but this is still America. We lazy over here. We don't want to do nothing ourselves. We want convenience. I mean, we're addicted to McDonald's. We're addicted to fast food. We want things done easily. But I guess none of these guys got the memo. You know, they were still just selling their beans. And you know, I feel like I'm being a little bit hard on them because they weren't doing bad. They were doing pretty good. They started their business in 1971 in Seattle, and the business expanded. I mean, it didn't expand to the level where it's, you know, what we know today. They had like 5 stores in the Seattle area, and that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty decent for a business that sells beans, coffee beans, I mean. But then this guy, Howard Schultz, comes around, and they hire him as the CEO. And this story actually reminded me of the McDonald's story so much. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I'm actually obsessed with the McDonald's story. I don't know if it's because I just love McDonald's or because I just love the story. Maybe we should do a video about that one. Let me know if you guys will be interested in that. But he comes around and he's like, why are we selling beans? You guys, what are we doing? We actually need to be selling drinks. He traveled to Italy in 1983, and he saw that the Italians were just way ahead of everyone, and they had all these cafes, and people went and bought their coffee already made, and he was like, wow, this genius, we gotta bring this to America. So in 1984, Starbucks starts selling actual drinks. So actual drinks made from coffee. And they did still keep the coffee beans in-house, and they would still ground them in-house. So when you will walk into a Starbucks, you would get that smell of coffee, which if you guys watched the Target video I did last week, you know that's like a very defining character of Starbucks. I never really realized that, like the scent, but it's something that Target really wanted to get into their stores, which is why there's Starbucks inside of Target. Spoiler alert for that Target video if you guys haven't watched it. So Starbucks starts making actual drinks, and the business just pops off. And in 1987, Schultz actually buys Starbucks. So he's like, guys, I'm taking over from here. He buys the business along with some investors for $3.8 million. And if you adjust that for inflation, it's actually $8.7 million, which, I mean, it's a lot, but Starbucks, it's actually worth $80 billion. So I would say it was a good investment for Mr. Schultz. He's doing just fine now. And as soon as he buys the business, he starts this aggressive expansion with all of the things that make you addicted to Starbucks and make you not be able to quit Starbucks, which is what I really wanted to talk about today. And to the point where they have over 30,000 Starbucks currently, which is crazy. It's crazy, but also not really, because I can think of like 4 different Starbucks that are within like a 3-minute drive from me. Well, I mean, when there's no traffic, I guess. But, you know. So this guy, Howard Schultz, is actually the one responsible for the entire Starbucks marketing strategy and basically everything that you know Starbucks to be. He's responsible for that. Like, he came up with that in his business brain. He actually stopped being CEO, and when the 2008 recession hit, they had to bring him back because they were like, Dad, we need you to fix this for us, okay? Which he did. So what is it about Starbucks and why are we so addicted? Because objectively speaking, Starbucks is expensive. I mean, when you go there, you know you're gonna spend some coin for something that maybe you could get somewhere else, or could you? So the first thing that Starbucks has done is consistency. They like consistency so much that they actually got rid of the Starbucks on their logo. So Starbucks right now is only the little siren that they have, and that way they don't have to have letters on their logo, so they can be consistent all throughout the world. And Starbucks is consistent not only with the logo, but with how the actual Starbucks looks. So you'll be able to recognize the Starbucks anywhere because they all look the same. It doesn't matter if you go to Japan, Starbucks will still look like Starbucks. And that consistency makes it familiar to you. It makes it like a place where you feel comfortable, like a place where you feel at home, like a place where you go and you know you're gonna find what you like, you're gonna find the drink that you always drink. I mean, probably not in Japan. Actually, definitely not in Japan, because when I went to Japan, I couldn't find my dragon fruit refresher. But that's okay. I had no business being at Starbucks in Japan. I mean, I was in Japan. I should have been at a local Japanese place, but I was at Starbucks. That really says a lot about Starbucks and also about me. But Starbucks has done this on purpose because this goes hand in hand with something else that they do, which is customer experience. So Starbucks wants their coffee to actually be really good coffee because they know you're paying a lot of money for their coffee and they actually want this coffee to be good, which is why the coffee is handcrafted. There was a point where the coffee wasn't handcrafted and Howard Schultz was like, no ma'am, we're not having that anymore. And he got rid of this automated process to do coffee and he retrained baristas so they would actually make the coffee and people could see them making the coffee because it would just cater to this experience of craftsmanship where people could just see someone making this drink for them and it just feels a little bit more special. Also, there's a lot of little things that they do, like if they mess up your drink, they will make you a brand new drink without really any questions. It's those things that we kind of assume should happen, but they didn't really happen until Starbucks was doing that. And honestly, I mean, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I have tried a lot of coffees. And I will say that the taste of Starbucks coffee is much better than the taste of any other franchise out there. Sure, if you compare it to like a local little shop, I'm sure you can get amazing coffee, but Starbucks provides this quality and consistency really anywhere you are. And that's what's setting them apart and what's making you go to Starbucks no matter where you are. If you're in an airport, you're like, oh, let me just get my Starbucks real fast because you know you're gonna get a delicious drink and you know it's gonna make you feel just like when you're home or when you're somewhere where you like having Starbucks and not you're in the middle of like some crowded airport where you really shouldn't be right now because you shouldn't be traveling. But I digress. That was a tinted moisturizer, but I'm gonna put on a little bit of foundation on top of that because I just want more. Me when I talk about Starbucks. So another thing that Starbucks does to keep you just coming back and addicted, it's making their locations feel like a third place. So this third place is something that they've actually referred to themselves from the very beginning. And that's been their goal all along, to make Starbucks the third place. I know that sounds so weird. Like what you talking about? What's a third place? And what they mean is the place you go to other than your home, which will be your first place, or your office, which will be your second place. I mean, this was pre-2020 when people went to offices. So the third place meaning the other place where you would feel like comfortable hanging out and just being at home. And that's how they made their locations, just a third place where people could come and relax and just be there and maybe hang out with their friends and not feel like they're intruding, not feel like they're like in somebody's way, just feel like they could be there and chill. So that's why all Starbucks locations really look the same and they have like this warm and cozy kind of vibe. And you know, they have the free Wi-Fi and people can just sit there and have their drink. They also have the free refills, which I know a lot of people don't know about, but if you watched my Starbucks hacks video, you know about the free refills because they just want you to sit there and be comfy. And of course, right now, it's not something you can necessarily do, but this is one of the things that they've done to build up the brand. And it's something that now, I mean, Starbucks has been around for a little while and we already relate to the brand. We know that if we want to meet a friend somewhere, somewhere, or if we want to do something that's not necessarily at home, we don't have somewhere to go, we could just go to Starbucks and we'll be fine there. Like nobody's gonna tell us to go. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, you should buy something. They're just gonna let us chill and hang out. And we know that any Starbucks we go to, if we're in a different city, if we don't really know what's happening, you go to Starbucks, you know what that's gonna look like. So that makes you want to go there because it's just that consistency. I feel like that number one thing really is consistency, because you know the drink you're gonna get, you know it's gonna taste good, you know you're gonna like it, you know what it's gonna look like around it. You just feel that even if everything around you is chaos, Starbucks is gonna be there for you. It's gonna be nice and warm and tasty. Wow, I feel like I'm writing Starbucks a love letter just in time for PSL season. And speaking of my love letter to Starbucks, their rewards program. So they know that they have loyal customers. So they've created a loyalty program, and it's a pretty good one. It's always been really easy to use. They used to have like the cards, and people would even get like personalized gift cards to Starbucks where they would be like blinked out and stuff like that. Because Starbucks would have like this almost, I don't want to say cult following, because honestly, I feel like a lot of people go to Starbucks. A lot of people love Starbucks. It's not only like a little niche, but there's so many people who make it part of their routine and who will make it really part of their lives. So Starbucks made the loyalty program for them, and they made it really good. It wasn't like, oh, you have to drink 100 million drinks so you can have some Starbucks. It was something that really actually gave you rewards, so people were more incentivized to buy more and keep going back. And you know, I feel like whenever I talk about any brands recently, I have to talk about like social media and how they're keeping up with the times and all those. And I feel like Starbucks has done a really good job at being very relevant on social media, but I don't really know if that's because they've created such a good brand already that people just love it, and they've already been so motivated to create content for Starbucks, like all the different drinks we see on TikTok and stuff like that, and they have like all these cool hacks, or if it's because they have really been so smart where they've created this culture with little things here and there, like writing your name on the cup, and then baristas would write names wrong all of the time. And the conspiracy theory was that they were doing that on purpose, so people would share pictures of the cup, which just ends up being more social media exposure for Starbucks. Really, whatever the reality is, I feel it's kind of like a chicken or the egg, which one came first, because they really are very good at listening and staying on trend. Because when they see something is really picking up, for example, when the pink drink was happening and everybody was asking for the pink drink, they just decided to put that on the actual menu. And I do feel like they have been pretty good at staying on trend. For example, Frappuccinos used to be the number one thing everybody wanted to drink. Oh god, I don't think I can do this while I talk, so let me just do this. This side turned out much better, so just look at me from this side, okay? Anyway, so Frappuccinos were something everybody wanted to drink, but now people are a lot more health conscious. And I mean, Frappuccinos do have a lot of sugar. They have more than double the recommended serving size for one day, just in that one drink. So Starbucks has actually started promoting their refreshers a lot more, which are delicious, and they are a lot healthier. So they have just adapted to what people like. But you know, if I had to say one thing that really makes Starbucks so successful is that, yeah, they're a huge brand. We love their coffee, we love their product, we love that third place feeling or whatever it is they call it. But they have this human face. I mean, they just feel human. And what makes this brand human is their baristas, is their amazing baristas that so many of us actually have relationships with. You know, that some of them know our orders, that, you know, we have stories about them, and they like recommend the new drinks for us. It's like those actual real relationships. Seeing the baristas make the drink, and you know, that little chit chat that goes on, those people that go into the same Starbucks every morning, that these people are part of their lives, part of their routine. That's what I feel really makes Starbucks so different and so special. And you know, I've never been a barista myself. I don't know if any baristas are out here watching this video. I don't know if they're treated well, or you know, they feel good in their jobs, but I know there's a lot of baristas that definitely act like they are, or they act really happy with what they're doing, and that just makes the customer experience so much better. And to me, that's what keeps anyone coming back to any business, that they feel good when they go in there and that they have a good experience as a customer. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I mean, as always, these are just like my thoughts, my opinions. How do we feel about this look? I think it's good. I don't know how I feel about this look. I think it's different. But it was really easy. It's just different, you know. Ooh, some highlight. I always forget highlight. I don't know why. Guess I'm just not lit. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this whole thing, and let me know what other things you think we should talk about here in beauty and business. And yeah, guys, I love you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.